the shield and landed on Endor.
This is where the fun begins.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
This is Rebel Force Radio.
Your source for the Force.
Star Wars news and commentary.
With Jason Swank and Jimmy Mack.
I've seen Star Wars 500 times.
Star Wars #1!
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
Now it's time for Rebel Force Radio.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Oh boy, what a show we got for you here this week on Rebel Force Radio. You're not going to believe it. Joining us in the cantina, the man himself, Brendan Wayne. That's right. The Mandalorian. Really looking forward to that. This is a guy that's been on our list for a long time to talk to, and it's going to be fantastic. You hear some behind-the-scenes stories of Mando. Maybe we'll get a little information about the film, you know, the big movie coming out next May. Obviously, tight lips have to be the order of the day when it comes to that. But who knows? Maybe he'll spill a little bit. So, and my gosh, Hollywood royalty, the grandson of the legendary John Wayne, the Duke. It's really going to be something. So you do not want to go anywhere here. We'll spend most of the show with Brendan, I hope. If there's time, you know, always if there's time, we'll delve into Star Wars and pop culture. But that's only if there's time. So we want to get right to it. Lots of exciting things here on Rebel Force Radio. So glad you stopped by. If introductions are in order and you're new to the program, my name is Jason. And with me, as always, my good friend and yours from Chicago, Jimmy Mack.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Star Wars fans. Totally looking forward to talking Mando with the Mando himself, Brendan Wayne. Brendan is the guy in that armor, wearing that helmet. Sure, that guy, what's his name? Pedro, whatever his name is. I don't know. Sometimes he might play the Mando, but largely he's a voice actor. And there is the great Brendan Wayne wearing the armor and the helmet. And I think he's long overdue that we have Brendan join us in the cantina here on Rebel Force Radio. He'll be making his In The Cantina debut. And I got pretty excited hearing you talk about, we should ask him about the Mandalorian and Grogu and see what we can get out of him. I'm sure he's not going to be able to say much, but, I mean, maybe wouldn't hurt to ask, right? At least. I mean, we'll see what he has to say. And I'm feeling a little intimidated talking to the Duke's grandson. My goodness. I was raised a John Wayne fan by the biggest John Wayne fan in the world, my pops, who made sure we sat down and watched the VHSs, sometimes under protest, too. You know, I didn't always want to sit down with my dad to watch these old movies, you know. My head was in a galaxy far, far away. You didn't expect me to go to the Rio Grande, did you? Well, sometimes we did. And through that process, I really learned to respect the work of John Wayne and respect my dad's fandom of the Duke and even develop a little bit of my own fandom myself. Of course, John Wayne, he had a role in Star Wars, remember?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, if you want to call it a role. But the voice of the Mos Eisley snitch, Garandan, the Imperial spy, the voice was created by Ben Burt using John Wayne dialogue from a movie. What movie? I don't know. I have the book here, The Sounds of Star Wars. And in it, Garandan is talked about. Can we hear the Garandan sound?
Yeah.
Oh, what a performance. What a performance. But according to The Sounds of Star Wars, Ben Burt reports for the mosquito-faced alien called Garandan, who shadows Luke and Ben Kenobi through Mos Eisley, Burt used the voice of a well-known Western actor. Now, this is Ben Burt talking. I was wondering back a few months ago about how I did it, because I keep notes and tapes, and I
discovered it was an electronic buzzing that had come off my synthesizer, triggered by a human voice. I listened to it and realized it was John Wayne in a scene with Kirk Douglas. I'd found some of his loop lines in studio trash. So the buzzing was triggered by some dialogue like, "All right, what are you doing in this town?" or something like that. I had run it through the synthesizer until it came out, zit whoop noo. Zit whoop noo. He actually says that. Zit whoop noo. Can I hear that again to see if it sounds like he's saying zit whoop noo? He's saying wah whip wop wop wee.
That's what I hear.
He's not saying zit whoop
I didn't
noo.
hear anything about a zit anywhere in this.
Or a new.
Yeah.
No, he's saying wah wick wak wak wah. Wah wick wak wak wah. But that actually is John Wayne. His voice being played through a synthesizer that Ben Burt had all tricked out to make weird sounds, and he played it. He played the human voice through that synth that was making weird sounds triggered by human voice. So there it is, John Wayne. And some people actually attribute this to like John Wayne's final role.
Yeah,
it's just a sound effect. It's just a sound effect, folks. But he does get IMDb credit for not A New Hope, but he gets IMDb credit for archive sounds in the Lego Star Wars shows or video games or whatever, where he's heard saying, "Wow, whip, wop, wop, wop." I definitely heard a womp. So that's what's going on. Looking. So that's Brendan Wayne, the grandson of Garandan, coming up later on this show.
I think he's probably never been introduced that way before. Something tells me.
Never. And I'm almost afraid to even broach the topic with the man, so maybe we'll just leave that alone and go into and I got to tell you, I want to thank President of the BARF, the Boston area Rebel Force fans, President of the BARF, Scott St. Louis, who visited us earlier this week here in the lovely Chicago area. He has some relatives out here, and he came out for a visit. And we met up at the Galloping Ghost. Then we came into my house, and I showed off my Star Wars collection to him. And it was just a great time. We hit a couple of bars with the Babu Freaks. And it was a lot of fun because, big surprise, there was an induction ceremony.
Oh.
Where Babu Freak Brian Klein and Babu Freak Barry Harmon were inducted into the Boston area Rebel Force fans as honorary members, the both of them. And so we have full coverage this week at patreon.com/Rebel Force Radio for our Patreon supporters. You can see a photo gallery from Scott St. Louis's visit as RFR welcomes BARF president to Chicago. There's a full photo gallery there. Of course, Scott St. Louis brought his famous, or maybe I should say infamous, spiked blue milk that he made so famous, or I should say infamous, at last year's RFR Live at Bristol for May the 4th. Well, he had a whole cooler full of them again this year as he visited the Chicago area, and I had half of them. I think there were 9 of them in this cooler. I think I had 4 or 5 of them. And I just felt every drop of blood in my body rush up to my head as I was somewhere else, man, after drinking those blue milks. Very special, very special. So he came and hung out with us. Like I said, a great time seeing Mr. President of the BARF, Scott St. Louis in Chicago. And you can see full footage of the entire visit via photo gallery and video coverage of Brian Klein's barf induction ceremony. That's happening for all supporters of Rebel Force Radio on Patreon. Patreon.com/Rebel Force Radio, where you get full show video, you get bonus podcasts, you get ad-free shows, and you get access to the greatest community of Star Wars fans you'll find on the internet or just about anywhere. That's patreon.com/Rebel Force Radio. Join the party over there, support Rebel Force Radio, and the higher the tier that you become a supporter of, the more stuff you get. And then the next thing you know, you're a VIP and president of your own local Rebel Force Radio support group. I call them support groups. So, yeah, y'all need to support each other out there. And as Star Wars fans, we do a good job of that here at Rebel Force Radio. So, patreon.com/Rebel Force Radio.
All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's do it. He needs no introduction. Brendan Wayne in the cantina here on Rebel Force Radio.
Star Wars Cantina.
Where are you going, Master?
For a drink.
Sorry about the mess. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
Hey, Brendan.
Hey, what's up, boys? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, good. Sorry, I completely blanked and didn't get to my computer.
Oh, no problem. Where are you right now?
I'm actually outside in my gym.
Oh, okay. It looks kick-ass.
We caught you mid-workout.
I wish I could say that's what it was. I wish I was working out. I was literally just cleaning up dog shit.
The literal kind, right?
Not dogs, there's really not much you can do.
Well, I love it. I mean, you can't get more down to earth than that. But well, are you okay to do the interview this way, or do you want? We can wait a few minutes if you want to get to your computer and get chilled out and relaxed. It's all right.
Oh, there's no such thing in my household. But, we're like, I'm good out here. I went and hid. I actually might even walk over to the other area. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good if you're good.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're a dad of 3 girls, like you said. You know, there's always chaos going on, right?
Yeah, I'm in between soccer practices literally today. Just a shit show of, clean up the dogs. It's pour some bleach on the ground or something, anything to clean up the mess. And then, I look in on my wonderful kids who I love dearly, and I go, "How you guys good? You watching Chicago PD for the 19th time, the same episode? That's great. I'm glad you're relaxed." Their response is, "It's summer." And I'm like, what did I do different than my mom? I'm trying to figure it out. Because, man, summer just meant I had to go outside and pick weeds.
I had to pick weeds, too. That's right. We had chores and stuff like that. Now the kids are just...
I mean, like real chores.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Not just, I'm going to go do some dishes, or once in a while I'm going to sweep after my dogs that I had to have.
Well, while we're talking about kids, I got to ask... Is it a kick to your kids that their dad is the Mandalorian, or growing up in a legendary Hollywood family? Is it just kind of like, nah, that's what dad does, that's his job? It's just like being a carpenter or anything else.
I mean, honestly, we were talking about it in the car today, and I think especially with my girls, I mean, they think it's cool, and their life is better for sure because of it. I don't think I definitely, it's funny because they're the first ones to say, I'd trade that show for that time back because, you're doing 15-hour days or whatever. And that one gets you. But most of the time, it's not all that deep. And they don't like it because when boys find out, they're like, or they get like, they're like, you're supposed to like me, but all you do is look over my shoulder at my dad and try to talk to him.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny because it makes it easier for me to just be even more of no, I'm not going to talk to you, son. Yeah, I have no interest in you. The fact that she brought you here is wrong because you're for now, not forever. So, we're in high school still.
Yeah, well, if they see you just maybe polishing that blaster rifle when they knock on the door, that'd be enough to send me the other way.
That's when my heritage works, which is I don't polish my blaster, I polish my Winchester. And I go, see my grandfather's name on this? It's right there.
Right.
Yeah, that's Winchester, and then John Wayne, because this one was made for him.
Wow.
And then you just see him go. But it's funny. Like I honestly I have 5 brothers. I got quite a few buddies. Carl, God rest his soul, was really good about it. Like if I told him, one of my girls was going to go out on a date or anything, he would video conference when the kid got there, and he would I wouldn't have to do anything. And the kid would be like bouncing between, why is this guy talking to me, to, oh my God, Apollo Creed or Predator or whatever it is, Chubbs. And then, they're like, oh my God. And he would do it like he was such a, that's, God bless him.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of really good friends who are built like me, just like a little bit off and a little bit crazy. And, we love to come out. It's Frank Trigg, Hall of Fame, UFC fighter, All-American wrestler. He plays one of the Gomorrah Guards, and he and I, I'd seen him fight 3 times before I ever, met him. And so now he's Uncle Frank to my kids. And, dude, he's Frank Trigg. His ear still looks like, someone was chewing on it before he walked in. And so he's great. He's unbelievable. He's a good one to have as your wingman at that moment. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this question. Your daughters, they have these they go on these dates and the boys get all excited when they find out that their dad is the Mandalorian. Yeah. But what about you growing up? What about your friends and people around you? Because your grandfather was John Wayne. Did that matter to, because you and me, we're close to the same age. And John Wayne, I believe John Wayne did matter to our generation, even though it was our fathers who were really turning us on to his movies. We had that respect.
Well, I will say there's a couple things. It's generationally, a lot of kids our age, my age, watched him with their grandparents, and that was their conduit. Is either that or they were going to get stuck watching the Lawrence Welk show or something. So instead they got to watch, the dude. And so, I, of course, played it off like, whatever. I was taught that, and rightfully so, very clearly that, he's John Wayne. I'm not. Make your own name and that's it. Because if you try to rest on it, you'll fall through and hit your face on the ground. That was a common theme. And because of that humility and the fact that I never saw him, now mind you, I was about 9, 8 when he passed. And I never saw him big time anybody or act like he was important, but I also was on a boat with him 90% of the time when I was with him or at his house. So I didn't have to deal with, that I just knew him as granddaddy. And so I was never raised with that concept of you were more than, or because your grandfather was this, you're this. And I guess I could have been. I know some relatives who definitely would wear the ring if it said Wayne on it, kind of thing. I'm just not. I wasn't raised that way, Right. And it just, I don't know, it never dawned on me. I think my peers made me want to be great, not, and my family, obviously. So for me, I never had a bad day being John Wayne's grandson. I definitely, I definitely enjoyed life and still do, coming from that and having learned from it, and hearing stories about what he meant to people. I was in Northern Africa and all these fans were there, and I was stunned, these guys, half this town didn't have electricity that we were filming in. And then, they're like, and not in English, like we love John Wayne. And the way they would convey that was show me VHS tapes or pictures of him. And I was like, what, this guy, wow, granddaddy, you did something, huh?
Yeah,
Like, we think of him, I think of him, American flag and everything that's good and upholding the rights, not always, he wasn't always the clean guy. He was never really the white cowboy hat guy, even if he was wearing one. He was kind of dirty. He was an anti-hero in a lot of ways. But what he did was he did the right thing in the toughest moments in his characters. And that's kind of what we all aspire to, right? In America and in general. So I always thought of him as that. But then when you see, in Japan, he's number 3 in the box office, or he's number 3 most popular actor up until, I don't even know, he's still in the top 10.
Yeah, it's hard to think of any actor that exemplified what it was to be American more than John Wayne, to the point where he's a folk hero.
Yeah, folk hero is too quaint. He's iconic,
right?
And I don't mean that to be it's not me. I didn't do it.
Right.
The collaboration, and he was really good about saying this. I didn't understand it as a kid, but he always talked about the team around you is what makes us great. Right. And he never said the team around you is what makes you great. It was us great. And it was always us. And that was the way I was raised. It was always about us. My father was a Navy pilot, fought in Korea. I played sports my whole life. I coached. I made sure during, Mandalorian, I was still able to coach my kids and other people's kids at the high school that I coach at locally, because that's what I learned on our set, on Mando. I know I did good things. I know I brought what I brought, but without, Diego, my grip, or, Creeper Johnny bringing me coffee and grip and lighting and wavelength, and my PAs, who, they come up and they were so used to people being, I guess, big time. And I probably was HR's nightmare, but I literally, I have no censor. And so I'd be they walk in, I'd be like, get the out of here.
Well,
and they'd be like, I'm so sorry. And then someone would come back and be like, dude, can you apologize? They thought you were serious. And I'd be in tears. I'd be like, I'm totally kidding. I'm so sorry. Well, you guys want to come in my room? Here's my code. I built a gym in here. I got my hanging bags just like I did at my own house. I'm like, you guys come in my room anytime you want. People come in and work out. We were a family, and that's what I was taught. Family is everything.
Yeah.
On the last 8 kids, people are everything. Community is everything, and it starts at one brick, and you build out. And that's so. Yeah, growing up, John Wayne was interesting. I will say that I did go out on a date with a young lady who was really pressing me for a date, and I couldn't figure out why, honestly. And when I got to her house, her mom was like, "She'll be ready in about 20 minutes." I was like, "That's a little long." And she goes, "Why don't you go hang out with her father in the study?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to get the tough guy one." I walk in, and there's a 6'4" cardboard cutout of my grandfather right next to a wall of VHS tapes, because we didn't have DVDs when I was in high school.
Right.
And then a picture, and then a Franklin Mint doll and this other thing. And I'm like, I'm not making it out of this fucking room. Yeah, I'm going to be like Kathy Bates.
Oh, misery.
He's going to taxidermy me.
Yeah, get the mallet out. Well, okay.
Become part of the collection.
We didn't have cell phones then either.
Right.
Yeah.
SOS. You mentioned that a lot of the time with your grandfather, you were on a boat. I assume you were doing some fishing, or you were at his house. Do you recall, did he enjoy watching movies or watching television? Did he, and what, everybody watches John Wayne movies. What did John Wayne like to watch?
Craziest thing. And it's funny, I don't know that I ever I don't think I thought anything of it then. But and even another writer actually talked about it. Ivor Davis, I think his name was. But he had these books, beautiful books. Funny enough, again, realizing it now, like picture books of things, and he was moved by pictures constantly. And he loved to read. He loved history. Like he was huge. Winston Churchill. I have a book signed by Winston Churchill, and they talk about being second cousins. Somehow, I have never looked into it, but it's in the book, signed by Winston Churchill.
Wow.
Okay, so he loved theater. He loved movies. He had back in the day, he had a movie theater, like a home movie theater with a projection that someone would come and run for him.
Yes.
You get whatever was new, Mr. Hope or somebody like that's got a new movie coming out, or Sinatra or somebody. And he'd watch it, and I less me because I was so young, but probably like my brothers, sisters, and my mom. They would, watch whatever was recent, and he did. He loved to watch. He loved to see what was going on. He had opinions on it, but he was great that way. In that he was in the art. He studied the art, but I watched him look at a book, and this is for me. I don't know JW and the Duke, just Granddaddy, and I'm like, why do you have tears in your eyes, Granddaddy? And he's like, look at this, and he's I'm looking at this thing. It's just a book, pictures of like I don't know, probably was like the Russian ballet, and I'm like, oh, he's in a leotard. I'd cry too. And my grandfather's like, no, literally, like my grandfather looks at me like I just told him that, Jesus was the devil. And he's like, what you see right there is art. Yeah. What is he expressing to you? And it was actually a woman man dancing. And I was like, I don't know. Can we go watch New Hope? Yeah. I didn't get it, but he took the time to show me that the expression of this moment. And through that, I have so many books like Cruising, and it's Van Nuys Boulevard, which I'm like a mile away from. And everyone cruise Van Nuys, those Hollywood Nights and American Graffiti, all that, those kind of moments. And I used to be in the back of like one of my brothers or my sister's car. Like my sister had a powder blue Mustang. It was gorgeous. It wasn't like Bullet. It had a trunk, but it was just awesome. It had fat tires in the back and skinny in the front. And I just sit in the back, and I was part of this, watching a generation being the next generation to come. And it was, and then having come from a whole, like watching my grandfather's generation, and it was incredible. Like it was very cool. So to see him have this emotion, and now I have these books, and I can go through, Dogtown, and think of, going to Venice canals here in California. And now, you buy these $1 million homes on the canals. But when I was growing up, that's where they used to, the gangs used to dump dead bodies. So we'd go do like stand go see it. Like, there's probably still dead bodies in there. So yeah,
well,
it's crazy.
Let me ask you this, Brendan. You brought up, you said you said you were sitting there with your grandfather, the Duke, John Wayne, and you were looking at this book of Russian ballet dancers and leotards, and you said, oh, come on, let's go watch A New Hope. Do you have any recollections of seeing that film with John Wayne?
No, not with my grandfather, though. My mom talked about it because she had seen it before. She had taken all of us. There were 6 boys and 2 girls in my family. She took the 6 boys to see it at the Van Nuys GCC Theater. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget walking into that theater, sitting there and watching it. And she had watched it, and he had recommended it and said, well, this just might be the new Westerns.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And I think he knew this, like at that point, anything that was going on, he knew what was going on. So he probably knew that they were, he was trying to make a Western. They wouldn't let him. So he did this instead. And that was his whole thing. And I thought that was so interesting later on when I found out. But yeah, my mom said, this is something your grandfather said you'd like. And I'd always liked, the movies we watched with him. It was like My Man Godfrey or The Primrose Path, which is also a relative of mine, directed those. That was Gregory LaCava, who's an Academy Award nominated director. So
Wow.
it's really, I don't know. It's very cool. And then I stayed away from the business as long as I could. So I was about 27. Then I started studying.
But what dragged you in then? What did you? I mean, obviously,
Avoidance.
you do a lot of
Avoidance
stunt work, don't you?
No. Okay. And it's okay. Like I laugh now. It's just because Lucas and Disney wanted to credit me as a stuntman. They had David Prowse. He was not credited as stuntman. So I don't know why. They had the right to do whatever they wanted. I didn't. I didn't demand it in my contract. I just never even thought I'd need to. But if I'm a stuntman, they owe me a lot of money for the work I did. Because I did a lot of I'm a very physical actor, and I think it really speaks to the character. Most of the characters I play all of my characters, the physicality speaks to it, but I understood this genre so well, and I just don't think they I think they're so used to putting, you're in this box, you're in this box, you're in this box. And I think John, remembered me from Cowboys and Aliens. And I think the thing he really remembered was that I did a 70-foot pull off my horse, double flip into the air off this, I don't know what they call it. They call it a gooch.
A gooch.
They call it a gooch ramp. And the reason is they stick it on your back, and then they draw it underneath you, in between your legs and up in front of you. And so when you get pulled, you go up. And so I'm riding this horse, and I'm riding. And then the alien gets me, and I go flip it in the air. And, clearly my acting performance wasn't what he remembered, but he remembered that because it was in behind the scenes and everything. I remember I have a brother who runs a company that does all the, gets it ready for after the theaters when it goes on HBO or whatever. They have the behind the scenes. He does all the chapter things that you used to see on DVDs. He has a company that does that, and he called me and goes, "Bro, you made the behind the scenes." And I was like, "I better have. I was all over that movie." And he goes, "No, bro. Like literally your interview. Like when you sat down and you were talking about how you wanted your stunt to be crazier than Olivia Wilde's." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's hilarious." And I honestly think John, thought of it that way. And so when I went and did this, I knew they hired me because they wanted an actor, somebody who could, say the lines in the costume with a helmet on, and still be able to act.
Yes.
But I was able to do both. Like there's a lot of it that I was able to physically do.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why I wasn't nominated for an Emmy, and that the guy who won the first Emmy for individual stunt award was the guy who plays Mando and does stunts, Lateef Crowder dos Santos.
Yes.
So, there's a reason why I've never been nominated for a stunt, and it's because I'm not a stuntman, and I would never take the credit of their art, and it is art. It's so beautiful. When you watch this movie that's coming out, it is so beautiful. The stuff that JJ, Matt Leonard, obviously Lateef, just absolutely amazing. Rich Citron, Alex, all these guys. We brought some of the original season 1 crew back in, got to see Donald. It was just great stuff. And I hang out with the stuntman generally because there's not a lot of polish on them, but there's not a lot of veneer and bullshit on them either.
Yeah,
Right.
So hang out with those guys because otherwise you might start to believe that you're more important than you are.
Right. Well, can you,
man,
you mentioned,
keep it real, Brendan.
Yeah.
You really do. And I have big props for you on that.
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I certainly appreciate it too. And you mentioned Dave Prowse, and I think Dave Prowse and Darth Vader is very analogous to Mando because it took many actors, many skilled artists to bring that character to life. Same with Mando. Can you talk a little bit about the dynamics between you and Pedro and Lateef and how that collaboration works? How much talking between the three of you does it take in order to make it feel like one character?
I mean, I leave that to John and the editing boys. Honestly, like at the end of the day, I like Latif and I, obviously are. We might as well be related. Like we're so close.
You're brothers now.
When I got offered to do like Comic Cons, or actually it was a signing. Someone said, "Hey, would you do a signing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I'm like, for what?" They're like, "Well, we know you're man." And I was like, "Oh, okay." This is before season 1 came out. And I was like, "Yeah, sure." But I mean, you have to. Latif has to be there, and they're like, "Latif," and I was like, "Yeah, he's the stunt man." And they're like, "Okay, so you're not," and I explained it to him. I was like, "Not a stunt man, just an actor who's really physical, and I try to do what I do as well as I can, so I don't, you know, in any way tarnish them." And but I said, "But Latif, we're just brothers. Like he'll call me and be like, 'Hey, how am I supposed to hold this gun?' And we'll FaceTime each other when we're on different sets. I don't, like Pedro, we're great. Like when we need to, we're on it. But like, the Tiff and I are there grinding. I think Pedro's just so freaking busy. I don't think it's easy for him, but like he's hilarious. Like we're great. Like we're buddies. But he's not like Latif and I, where we're going. We got to go get another job, kind of thing. His jobs are lined up. I don't even know if he could stop if he wanted to. Like he's just he's a freaking movie star. He's about to, I think knock everybody's socks off with Fantastic Four. That kind of thing. So I don't think it's not a like we can't micromanage it because it can't happen. And nobody's going to walk like me. Nobody's going to do a side handspring into the most powerful. Mind you, I want you all to know, Lateef Crowder literally has the hardest registered kick in the world. He's in the Guinness Book.
No, really?
So I'm not doing that. I'm not standing up and kicking somebody. I'm gonna shoot you in the face. I'm gonna punch you afterwards, and then I'm gonna drag you through the window and throw you out. That's what I'm gonna do. And Latif's like, I'll rope you. You want to run out that door, little boy? Whoops! Bang bang. That's how it's gonna go. Like that's what and the show taught me something that I should have known years ago. But I was, you push away from things that are huge, that especially if they're related to you. So like, I'm never going to have the presence my grandfather had. Like he's 6'5", 250. And this is how I go into work. And then I get into this job and I find out it was his stillness and whether he had the confidence in the moment or not. Generally speaking, it wasn't what he said. It was what he didn't say, and it was how he looked at you. And that's Mando, whether I knew it or not. Eventually, I think John always knew it, but I think he was kind enough to not say it because then he knew I'd probably run tail around the corner with it. So instead, he gave me, Schwarzenegger in Terminator and Yul Brynner in Westworld. And those are the guys I emulated in the beginning because they were so robotic. And that's what we wanted from Mando. And then by the end of the season, because of the kid, he finds a little bit more humanity. And he's not living the creed by rote. He's actually finding out what it means, everything means. And that's Mando's journey. That's all of our journey, I think, at the end of the day is what is our creed? Why are we living it? And what are we doing it for? And so to find like my connection to my grandfather artistically, when I never thought there would be one, through the show was an incredible find for me. But no, I'm not a stuntman. To answer that really in a long way.
But I'll tell you what, that Yul Brynner influence I've never heard before. And for some of our listeners and viewers who haven't seen Westworld, well, I mean, there was the reboot, so people are now familiar with it. He was an android. He was an android gunslinger. Yeah. And it's so interesting that you take the robotic elements
from the way he would, walk and draw and all of that stuff for the early Mando. And then you represent his growth through maybe a little more laid back, just not so robotic, as you say. That's just so fascinating to me. I'm amazed.
Because, one of Arnold's greatest performances, and I thought he's been great in a lot of things, but specifically is, you watch Terminator and he's so good, and it kind of gets overlooked because the movie itself is so fantastic and everything, and you kind of think, oh, okay, John Connor, Sarah Connor, like that whole thing was really cool, but I know so many people who associate him as robotic, and I'm like, he was anything but. Watch him in Conan, he flows. You know what I mean? But in this movie, he portrayed this thing, which also eventually, by the way, becomes a little more human as we go along with his story. But that was not. John was like, "Look at these guys. I want you to model it," and he was trying to slim down my natural. Psychotic, chaotic actions. And then it brought me to something I had studied as an actor, and my wife, who is an actress, that's where we met, and she's a huge acting coach now, as well as an actress. But there's this thing that we learned about Chekhov, about radiating, and I went, oh my God, yeah, that, like, you think about the greats and some of the moments that at least I recall. It's not monologues. Like, come on. Like, they're fun. That's an actor's dream, this monologue, and it goes well. But really, the simplicity of a moment, like Julia Roberts looking at, Hugh Grant saying, I'm just a girl asking a boy to love her, like, it's very simple. It's not like 7 pages of waxing poetically, which can definitely get a little internal and boring to me. But if you can stand there and say to, Werner Herzog, after he says, they have you outnumbered, and you can look at him and say, I like those odds. And carry that moment without doing anything but this,
Yeah. Nice.
Guns akimbo.
This is the way.
The way to what?
Oh, that's a saying from The Mandalorian.
Rebel Force Radio.
We're back with the Mandalorian's Brendan Wayne. Did you ever look at the way Jeremy Bulloch moved around as Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back? I know they're different characters, but the similarities are so obvious. You're both wearing that armor, and you're both walking around looking cool as hell. Did you ever take a look at him just to see the way he sort of moves around in the frame?
I mean, for the role, no. But did I ever take? He was my guy. Like, at Last of 8 Kids, you could only be whoever you could get. And when I say I am tiny, at 6 foot, 180 pounds, I'm tiny in my family, except for my sisters. Don't worry, I'll keep your virtue, ladies. But my brother's, like, the smallest brother I have is 6'2", 250. And I'm literally like rail thin when I stand next to people. Are like, oh, did you guys spit up? Oh, that's your brother. Like, so when I went to reach for my guy to play with, it was always Bubba because he was the least used. You know what I mean? And in a lot of ways, he was resented because he was the guy who pissed us off for, what was it, 2.5 years before we got to see what happened to Han Solo.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
wow, so there was angst toward the Boba Fett action figure in the Wayne household. This is is breaking news. That's very interesting because he was like such a popular action figure. I've never heard anybody tell a story about having feelings of animosity toward that old action figure. But here we are in the Wayne household, and Boba Fett's the last one sitting there.
But yeah, but it became my. It was funny. It just became kind of like we find things and we kind of push our story through them. Well, that action figure was my story. Was, like, oh, I'm not as big or as strong as you boys. So what did I have to do? I was faster than them by a mile. I could out jump, you know what I mean? Like, and I had to. I mean, they were good at taking some punishment, but like I had to learn how to eat it because there was no way I was. It's like if we were in a fight, I had to, in order to get in, I had to eat two to get one, and so that was kind of like what I was taught. Like, and that's Boba Fett to me. The funny thing is for me, his lore is incredible.
Yeah.
Because you talk to like Star Wars, the encyclopedia that is like Dave Filoni, and he's like, he wasn't even the best bounty hunter. Bosch was, and I was like, what? And he's like, that's everyone knows. I was like, that's crazy. He goes, it's just lore, and so I grew up telling stories about him, and he made the Christmas special and all these things, and so like for me. How does Boba Fett, I was ready to play Boba Fett since I was, 10.
Is there any truth, Brendan, that you thought you were actually auditioning to play Boba Fett when you went out for Mando?
Yeah, and it's funny because I thought Mangold was doing the Boba Fett, and I was like, oh, why did they say it was Favreau? I don't buy it. Like I knew it was at first I didn't even know it was Star Wars. I told them that they had to pay me because they were just wanting me to go try on a costume, see what I looked like in it. And I was like, first of all, this sounds dodgy as F. Like, am I going to somebody's house? Because I'm not, we're not doing that. I'm not playing. I'm not there yet. I'm not that hungry as an actor yet. And there's been a few.
That's a tough business, man.
So I get this, my agent's like, you won't go. I was like, no, I got to take the night off work. I got a kid who's about to go to college. I'm a bartender. I'm hand to mouth, boys. Sorry. So, needless to say, they were like, yeah, we'll pay you for the day. I was like, sweet. And then I go over to Glendale, this part of Glendale that wasn't nice. And I was like, okay. And there's a bunch of like warehouses. I'm like, okay, I'm going to die. This is great. And I'm going to get killed. I'm like, good thing I have a concealed carry license here. And so I was this close, honestly, to walking in with it in a bag, but I didn't. So I go in and it's like, you got to buzz yourself in. And then the lady's like, yeah, you got to sign the NDA. And I'm like, I haven't even walked in the door. So I signed this thing and drop it through the door, and then I open the door, and I'm like, expect to see like 7 homeless guys and a pot of fire and Will Ferrell and his Prius, and the other guys playing in the background. And so I'm like, good God, what am I going to? And I walk in, and I'm like, that's the Terminator. And it's full size, real Terminator. And then right next to it is like Idris Elba in Thor. And I'm literally looking around going, Gizmo. It was. And I was just in a lobby. Oh, and the Avatar. I was like, what? Where am I? And I realized I'm in Sam Winston's old place. And it's now Legacy.
Wow. Amazing.
And it's starting now. I'm starting to go, oh God. I was really big in my britches. Oh my God. And so I walk into this dressing room. And there's like a Camtono. There's like a Pelican case that they go, hey, we're gonna have you put this on. They flip it open, and I'm looking at it, and it's the original version of Mando that we had, which I call the Pinto because we had a Pinto that had a couple. It was brown
with the different panels. Yeah.
Pinto.
That's so
I had
funny.
A couple panels that were a different color because maybe my brother put one into a wall.
Some Bondo.
Yeah, 100%. And if you look somewhere on my Instagram, it's there because I had to explain it to somebody because everyone was so mad. I was like, relax, it's a good part of my life. Anyway, so I look at this thing and I'm like, that's Boba Fett. And they're like, no, it's not.
Ooh.
And I was like, I go, I signed the NDA. It's okay. We can talk about it in here. Like, I'm not telling anybody. Like, don't get so impressed. Yep, there it is. I'm like,
There's
don't get
the
so
Pinto.
impressed with yourself. So they're pulling it all out and they're putting it on me. And then they're like, this was a big deal at this point. And I didn't really know why. But apparently this had already been cast. But the guy is Rich Cintron, who played Batman's double for like Ben Affleck. He did that crazy fight. Like, he's a stud. He used to spar with Tommy Hearns. Guy's a stud. Anyway, and he ended up working on Mando with us, and I love the guy. Really absolute people, somebody you want to like hold yourself up to be like. Really good guy. Anyways, but he wasn't an actor, he was a stuntman. So they were like, no, we gotta get somebody who's an actor. And I'm putting this thing on, and they're like, oh, the guy before you was 6'5". And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it is kind of long, but because he was a fighter, he was thin. Thank you, Jesus. Because I put this thing on and I looked, according to them, really cool. They were like, holy cow. And then there's this moment, and they bring out this other crate, and they're like, this is the moment of truth. And they pull out the helmet. And I realized, oh, it's not Boba Fett. That is stainless steel. I had no idea what Beskar was at this point. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm like, that's a pretty cool helmet. But I had been practicing. Oh, no, that was later. So I see the helmet, and they hand it to me, and they're like, okay, let's see if it fits. And I just plonked it on my head, and they're like, go left and right. And all they had, like they had this shell of a helmet, and inside they'd put some like styrofoam ear muffs and a pad up here. That was it. And it fit. And they're like, can you see? And I'm telling you right now, I said yes. I didn't even open my eyes yet. And I was like, yes. They're like, walk. And I'm literally like, okay, I'll walk. Bum, 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 bum. And I just, I walked, I hit a chair, just pushed it out of the way like I meant to run into it. Boom, it's gone. And they're like, literally started going, dude, you're the guy. And I was like, yeah.
The walk.
I don't know what that means. I literally was just there to try on the costume. Like, I don't have a script, I don't have a story, I've heard nothing. So I'm like, and I, like Hollywood's weird. Like, they'll be like, hey, can you come in and try on this cowboy hat? And they're like, thank you. And then you like hear like a year later, oh yeah, that cowboy hat you tried on. They want to make sure it looked good on Viggo Mortensen because he has a similar face or whatever. And you're like,
oh, you're stunned.
Well, let me ask you this question. I've heard that when Pedro put the helmet on, he can't move, he can't walk, he can't do anything. So is it always you and Lateef in the helmet and the armor, or does Pedro ever act as the helmeted Din?
Well, we know for sure that he does because in the beginning of season 2, I was dying in the hospital for almost 6 weeks. And so, for a fact, like this, this is how I'm quashing this, like, look, there are just things that we can say and we can't say, but to be clear, he's in the suit, he's wearing the helmet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How he felt in it, I'll be honest with you. I don't really know, other than to say that he was stoked to see me come out of the hospital and put on that costume. And so was I. And it was something that, besides my family, when you get debilitated like I was, where you're like literally dying a few times.
Well, I don't know what happened.
It was an appendicitis, wasn't it, Brendan? Was that what it was?
It wasn't. It was part of it. But what happened is, those ridiculous hernia mesh commercials you hear about joining the lawsuit?
Yes.
Well, they thought it was just my appendix. And I told them, it's not just my appendix. Something else wrong with me. I'm in real good shape. I just had my last pro boxing fight of my career. I really need you to, do something else. I mean, I was so they thought it was appendicitis. They removed my appendix, cleaned me out. I was septic. Apparently, my pain threshold's really high. I'm sure it came from having 5 older brothers. I literally,
Yes.
although my 5'4" sister whooped my ass quite often too.
Yeah.
Everybody
there's
was
the reason
beating
why
your
we call
ass.
her
So
the general. Yeah,
That,
but
that Wayne
it sounds like
Constitution.
it literally sounds like all I did was, get my ass beaten. I didn't. My family's wonderful. We love each other. I just got to say that as a disclaimer. But
Disclaimer.
I did. At one point, my original surgeon I felt like he was disregarding me. And so came in one time because I kept telling him, you got to open me up. I didn't know that they couldn't open me up because my blood cell count was so low. I had to get a transfusion.
Oh my God.
And I wasn't going to be able to fight off any infection. Like they were like, my daughter came back from college to say goodbye. Like,
whoa,
I died. And then I came back and then I died. And then I came
Brandon.
dang.
My God. So what? It was an infection from that mesh they put in when you have an umbilical hernia, and they put that mesh in there. And
I had 3 hernias. I had a triangular hernia. I had one on each side and then one umbilical. And so they just patched. It was good. I felt fine. For a few years. But then, every once in a while you get like a stitch or something, and I'd get this one over on my left side, and I was like, what's just old something hurts from getting punched or something. And or the car crashes. I had a few car crashes. And so you don't know what it is. And then for a week I thought I had gas. And I was getting this pain. I literally thought I had gas. I was like, oh my God, like doubled over. I'm like, I eat a lot. I used to eat a lot of sugar and drink a lot of Cokes. And so, a lot of sugar. Yeah. Anyway, so I thought maybe that's what it was. And then my daughter's birthday was the 27th of September, 2019. Spent the day at Disneyland. And I mean, when I say like, I was getting like upper lip sweats and, like when you get so drunk, you can't you're going to hurl and like your tongue's curling up and you're sweating, but it's my daughter's birthday. So I'm just, grinning, let's go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, God.
And the next morning, I mean, I couldn't sleep. Like we got home and I couldn't sleep. So I went out in the living room and I was sleeping on the couch. It was like 6 a.m. and I knew I had to coach my kid's game at 11. And so I was like, I just texted my wife. She was asleep. I'm like, hey, when you wake up, I'm probably at urgent care. I think I have kidney stones. I have no idea. I have no idea why I said that. I'm in the front here, whatever. And luckily I emailed my internist, Dr. Sarang, and I said, hey, I'm going over to the hospital, just so you know. Luckily, urgent care was closed, so I went to an ER. Went to the ER, and like 45 minutes into me just being that guy when you walk in the ER with like a broken finger, and you hear some guy going, and I'm like, I kid you not. Hey, there's a chair, I can't sit in it, so I lay over it. I'm like, oh. And it literally said, I'm that guy that you're like, don't go in the emergency room. Don't go. There's a guy, and oh my God. And my doctor comes walking through the ER doors because her office across the street, she was doing rounds. She walks in, she looks at me, and I go, hey, Doc, I need you to shoot me up with some morphine. I got a coach at 11. And she looks at me, she goes, you got appendicitis. And I go, I got a game at 11. What are you going to give me? And she knows that if she tells me she's not going to give me something, I'm going to turn and walk out the door. So she's like, okay, we'll go in. We'll give you a shot. Because I've had kidney stones before, and they shoot you up, and you're like, hey, that's pretty nice. And so
that's the good stuff.
Yeah, dude. And then I wake up, and I'm like, I'm in a gown? I got no clothes on except for this blue thing. And I got like things coming off me, and I'm like, what is going on? And they can already see. I'm like, what time is it? And they're like, dose him. And I heard him say it. They were like,
game over.
This is like the A-Team when they used to have to drug BA to get on the airplane. They're drugging you to get you in the hospital, man. Holy crap.
Well, you are the Mandalorian after all. I mean,
I wake up in a room that is airtight chamber. It's the oxygen chamber.
Wow.
And I don't know why I'm in there. I got this tube coming there, got to feed me this way. All of a sudden, now I got a colostomy bag attached to me. And this is like the worst nightmare. And I'm in the ICU, but nobody took my phone away. And you guys are going to laugh your ass off. So my buddy calls my wife and goes, "Hey, where's B?" And she goes, "What?" Because I've already told her, don't tell anybody. Production has no idea. They think I just have appendicitis and I got to recover.
Right.
So he goes, "Sarah, seriously, where is he?" And she goes, "What's Alex? What's going on?" And he goes, "Well, I just got a message that said, bring me a slice of pepperoni pizza, a Gatorade ice, and meet me at St. Joe's ER doors in 5 minutes." And she goes,
without
"Hey,"
tube
she goes, "Where are you?" He goes, "5 minutes away, but should I be doing this?" She goes, "No, and call everybody." And so she tells him what's going on, and she comes into the room, and I mean, there's very few things I remember when I was all drugged up here.
Yeah.
I remember that face when she walked in. I was like, "Oh my God, she found my magazines." Nope. He walked over and goes, "Where's your phone?" And I was like, "Oh my God." She grabs
Busted.
my phone, man. That was it. I didn't see my phone again until I got out of the hospital.
I hope you eventually got that slice of pizza.
You know, it's funny. I did, and it was glorious. But I did. So the doctor came in. A day after Dad came into the ICU, and now I have like 5 doctors working on me. And they're going to transfuse and all this stuff. And the doctor who originally, cut me open, the surgeon, comes in, and I go, "All right, motherfucker, don't come in this room again, or I'll kill you. I'll kill your family in front of you, and I'm going to kill the nurses that you bring around." And this guy never came in again. But I blamed it on drugs.
Oh my God.
You blamed it on drugs.
On and off screen, total badass.
Insane.
That's crazy. How much time did you miss on production of this? Was at the end of season 2?
No, beginning. So,
okay.
I missed about 4 weeks, and we reshot some stuff for me. Because there's just some stuff that, I mean, it's, you see me walk away. Like, there's just not many people who can be able to hold on. And it's not like I'm trying to do something.
Right.
It's the way that they slowed me down. And then all of a sudden you find out, I walk like my grandfather, actually. All right, that's good to know. And I thought it was only when I was drunk. But really what happens is when I'm drunk, I just walk slower. So that's all it is.
Oh, I see.
When you're walking
That's
drunk, you're
awesome.
like, left foot, right foot. And you're not thinking, ha la la, like, yeah. So,
but you totally own that in like the proud tradition of so many actors from Star Wars who were the men behind the mask. It's not like you could just throw someone else into that uniform, into that wardrobe, into that helmet. You have to have the right person. And whether it's David Prowse, Peter Mayhew, Jeremy Bulloch, or yourself, Brendan Wayne.
Yeah. Well, I would say this, and I don't say this, I say this with all humility, which is because I had the first season, so much of it.
Yeah.
And we did something with it. I'm very proud of it. And it's a we, it's not a me. But we did do something with it, whether it was, I'm talking to like my camera operator and he's like, "This looks silly," and most directors don't want anyone, getting direction from their camera, but for me, I knew these guys, I trusted them. I knew their other work. They've seen it. So why wouldn't I take it? And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're not shooting on film, so it doesn't cost us anything. So for me, we did a lot of work together to create him, and it was going to be hard for anybody to try to step in and copy what I'd done, because I waited and studied my whole life for this, and I didn't know it. I'd always been a cowboy. I always wanted to be a sheriff. I always, rough, A-Team you brought up, the only signature And I mean, I hung out with, I knew him as Uncle Ronnie, but he was a president, I guess. You know, like I hung out with Loretta Young.
Wow. Yeah.
There's only one person I ever asked for an autograph from, and that's Murdoch from A-Team.
Wow.
I saw them.
Amazing.
They were filming, and I was walking by, and I was like, I need you to sign my sign this. That's the your site. Like, I mean, like I never
really
nothing,
cool.
right? And so,
That's so cool.
it was gonna be hard no matter what. Like you were just. I mean, I'd shoot guns, quick draw, all that stuff like that. That's what we grew up on. Even if we were the punk rock, like the Clash is probably my number one. If they said, hey, you have to go to an island and there's only one band you can listen to forever. Maybe at my age now, maybe I bring the Red Stray Clays, but for me, it was the Clash, and it still is. Like, that was when it's funny because in the helmet I can wear these little earbuds I have. And so a lot of the time it was just me and the kid, and we had to go somewhere, do something.
And the kid.
And
The kid.
we had to, and we had to kind of get something done. And so, a lot of it's me running with the kid, like, let's get out of here. And so I would be playing, it's funny, I'd be playing London's Falling, Spanish Bombs.
Yep.
Ozzy's Crazy Train was a great one to me.
R.I.P. Ozzy.
And it's funny because everyone was like, are you listening to Iron Man under there? I was like, no, that's already been done. Now listen. But like, I was like, yeah, we're going. Ozzy was great. Some Sabbath. What else did we do? It's funny because I have like a playlist for every scene. And I have all my songs for every season, everything I was going, I was going.
You should publish that somewhere so people can take a look at that and relive the creation of those scenes.
Well, and so I'd get to work. Like if we had a 6 o'clock call, I'd get there at the latest at 4 a.m. because I built a gym in my room and I'd work out in there. And then I'd run the studio, and then I would get the helmet and I would go walk the scene and I would listen to my music because, when we think about like for our generation, I think it really speaks to it, which is when I think of Miami Vice, In the Air Tonight, and that opening, they don't say a word for 30 seconds. Can you imagine if we tried to do that on TV right now? Like, just play a song, but that's what Mando was for me. Every scene was, what is the song to this scene? And I didn't have to change them. Like sometimes I'd be like, whoa, that was too energetic. Like it's got to be brooding on this one, or this has got to have way more stakes. So I got to bring it up like Crazy Train, and stuff like that. And that was really fun. Like when you get to that, to play somebody who's number one on a call sheet, meaning you're in every damn scene, you get a lot of leeway, and there's a lot of trust put in you. And there was John and Dave put a lot of trust in me, and I think we did it. But I never thought about it though. Funny enough, it's weird. It never crossed my mind that I got a responsibility of this. I just did my job every day. And it's funny, I had no guarantees with that show. Season 1, season 2, Book of Boba Fett, I had to sign a contract daily. Normally people normally you get guarantees. Wow. They never gave me a guarantee till season 3.
Oh my God.
And I think that was because it cost them more eventually to not give me a guarantee.
Huh.
That is so interesting. And also with the guarantee, you got some prime billing on the show as well. No longer were you listed as a stunt actor or whatever they were calling you.
We got
he's got his
guest.
pooch. We got
That's Daphne. That's my
Who's
girl,
this?
Daphne.
That's Daphne. She's the best. Yep.
Oh, she's
rescue
sweet.
dogs. Rescue them. She's a last
Yes, absolutely. I have a rescue dog. Jason's a dog lover. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I have 5 dogs.
5 dogs.
I
Yeah.
wish
the
I had
family's
5
on me to get
dogs.
another one.
That is really like nobody can leave. We can have 4 people go on vacation in this family, but someone's got to stay home with the dogs.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you gotta take care of your animals. They need
You better all come for you. I got I got a
Brendan.
I got a Doberman. I got a Vizsla.
Yeah,
That's
and they're barking on
barking.
cue.
She's like, "Can I get on camera?" Anyways, yeah, going back to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, all right. Real quick, some rapid fire questions about The Mandalorian. Who has been your favorite actor to work with on that show?
My mentor, Carl Weathers, God rest his soul, because he not only was incredible. Hey, it's me. Come here, Percy. Come here.
Now the dogs are taking over the show.
Well, because they're like, "Who's this guy in the back talking?" Yeah. So Carl Weathers, because while I'll tell you, maybe I'll let the questions go, and then if you don't bring it up, I'll bring it up. But Carl Weathers, because I was definitely over my skis when coming into the show, and he taught me what being a man was on set, and the being a leader on set. Sorry, and how it'll all trickle down from me. And so if I take any moments off, someone else might, and then we'll fail. And he taught me a lot about acting and things like that. He took me under his wing. So Carl, God rest his soul.
So my next question would be favorite director, and it's probably Carl, right?
It was incredible to work with Carl. And I could be cheeky and say it and be like, but I'll tell you what, I was directed by a guy who I played basketball against in high school who dunked on me.
Oh, wow.
Rick Famuyiwa. And that was
Rick,
incredible.
yes.
Wow. Small world.
But, I mean, John, I just got directed, but I've been directed by John twice. And we all know he's incredible. But, it's between Bryce and Dave Filoni.
Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard also. And tell us about her. Tell us about her, the way she runs the set. What are her directing chops like?
My God, she's incredible. She is, first of all, she's going to run you. Like, if you're there, you better be ready to work. And so that was great for me. Cause she's going to try things and she's going to do silent takes, which I thought was hilarious if it was just me in the scene. Cause I'm like, I'm in a helmet. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter, right?
But she'd like to try things and see how she could play with you. But she did her homework too. Like, first time I met her, she walked up to me and was like, 3 generations, and gave me a pound, and I was like,
wow.
Okay. And then I was like, hey, by the way, I have a picture of your father and I on the set of The Shootist. And she was like, what? Oh my God, you're going to have to show him. Wow. I was like, yeah. Like, when am I going to see him tomorrow? Like, I literally joked around. Next day, this guy walks into the tent, and I'm like, hey, it's Ron Howard again. Hey. And he's like, I hear you got a picture of me. And he was so nice. And then, he shared stories about my grandfather. So Bryce is amazing. But when I came out of that hospital, I could barely stand up straight, but I didn't tell them that. And I went back to work, and I had a wound that was that big, open right here on my gut, that I had to kind of constantly keep clean inside this sweaty, dirty costume. But I wasn't going to let it get away from me. I didn't want to give him the opportunity to do anything, because I loved it. I'm going to kill my dogs now. Hey, Percy, it's a fucking bird. You're not even going to get it 500 feet away.
Do you have a personal favorite episode of The Mandalorian? Personal favorite episode?
This is where that goes. The Jedi. Dave held that episode so that, because he wrote it for me. And he's like, I wrote this for you. Like, he held that episode because he wanted me, that was it. And that was what it was. I got to draw with Johnny Ringo. I got to introduce Ahsoka and Rosario. We had Diana Lee and Santo as a magistrate. Michael Bean's there. Like the history we kicked around in that episode, and Yo Jimbo and the whole thing was an incredible. Just on itself was awesome. But then to know that he pushed production dates till I got out of the hospital. Well, that made it everything for me. So yeah, that's another one. All right.
Super memorable. And what was it like working with Rosario?
Rosario's she is the greatest number one you'll ever see on a call sheet. And I say that because she brings energy, love, and everything. Now, is she able to sit in there like I do, all day and just shoot shit? No, because she's got a million things. But she is never mean. She's never rude. She's always bringing joy. She's always like, you can't not walk away and just go, like, first of all, you see her and just as a human, you're male, like I was literally like, my God, you're more stunning in person. Like, how is that possible? And then okay, now here's the bitch, and nope. I'm like, wow, you just became even more attractive. I need to get out of here. I need to call my kid. I need to call my wife. Like anything. Like I gotta go. I'm gonna go work out. It's incredible.
All right. Can you tell us about when George Lucas visited the set?
Yeah. That was incredible. I was, I don't get starstruck, I told you. But I was, he and Carl Weathers, I was pretty quiet next to. And finally, I just looked at him and I was like, am I doing okay? And he looked at me and goes, I don't know. You seem to be liked by everybody. I go, yeah, I'm talking about the art. And he goes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Brendan, Josh, right when you started to talk about what George said to you, you broke up. The audio broke up. So I'm so sorry. Do you mind repeating that? You had asked, so George is on set, and you asked him if you were doing okay.
Well, we've run into some technical difficulties with an on-the-move Brendan Wayne.
It's the dogs. And, I think the dogs are conspiring to...
The dogs. But something tells me this is the type of energy he brings to the set on The Mandalorian, not being able to sit down. He just mentioned that he does these shooting days where he can keep going, 15 hours, no problem. Rosario Dawson or one of these superstars, they drop in and drop out. They don't do these marathon days in front of the camera like a guy like Brendan Wayne does. But, it looks like we have lost Brendan. So
well, hopefully he'll call us back and we can wrap things up with him. He did say that he was in between soccer practices, I believe. He was coaching when we first started talking to him. He goes, well, I'm in between practices. So who knows? Maybe we lost the connection. And he goes, oh, my God, I lost track of time. I was talking to those two bozos for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. What else do they want from me?
Yeah, but when he was talking about George on set, that's when things broke up.
I know.
Of all time.
I know. Yeah. I really wanted to hear that. He said, how did I do? And then George said, well, maybe we'll catch up with him some other time, or maybe he'll call back. But or maybe he's just a fan of Star Wars and pop culture and wanted to make sure we had time to fit that segment in.
It's right.
For the show, you know what I mean?
He's been dying to hear those clips.
Baby Yoda, I love you!
Rebel Force Radio.
Shall we jump in? You want to do Star Wars and pop culture while we're waiting? And maybe he'll call back.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, why not? I mean, here we are. We have the time now all of a sudden. And Star Wars and pop culture demands to get our attention. So
here we are.
Here we go.
Rebel Force Radio.
You've already made that Star Wars reference.
Your source for the Force.
Star Wars parody!
All right. Well, we've been wanting to get to these for a long time. We started to crack open this backlog of pop culture moments last week. So we've got more where that came from.
We sure do, Jason. And thanks to all you guys who send in your suggestions to show at rebelforceradio.com. Subject line, Star Wars and pop culture. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We don't throw them away, I'll tell you that. And sometimes they pile up in the inbox week after week. But hey, look, here we are. Star Wars and pop culture. We made it. So this is from a newer show. It's called St. Denis Medical. And the family watches it upstairs, and they love it. It's on NBC, and I think they just wrapped up its first season earlier this spring. But they've been dropping Star Wars references, and there's been a few of them. This week we'll just do the first one.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Here it comes.
Hold that thought, because Mando is back. Here he is.
Hey,
Mando is
Here we go.
right in time for the George Lucas story.
How good is that? My phone died, apparently. I had no idea.
Oh, man. Really appreciate the call back, because we were dying to hear the other half of this. I'd asked you what it was like when George Lucas came on to set, and I think I heard you say that was an episode. Was that Carl Weathers that was directing that day?
That was no, because that was the. What's that? It's a good question. It might have been.
Or maybe Dave. Was it Dave?
Carl was in the scene. Oh, it was Dave. It was Dave. You're absolutely right. Yeah, because it was. When the troopers come in and they fire hose the bar while we're in there, and Werner gets all shot up, and that was, we were on that's right. And I say to him, hey, how am I doing, kind of thing, and he says, they like you, and I was like, yeah, no, I meant like the character, and he goes, that's all you need. And I was like, oh, my God. Okay. That's it.
That's it. Well,
they like what you're doing. Like he's like, and what he's saying to me was, if it wasn't good, without saying all these words, right. It was like, if it wasn't good, then it wasn't, then you wouldn't be here, kind of thing. And without being kind of dick, like I would be, of course. But, I also asked him about the Force eventually. And, and he was like, everybody has it. And I was like, oh, what? I'm like, we're not big fans. Like Mandalorians, we don't like Jedi and the Force and the whole deal. And he's like, that's not the point. The point is that everybody has good and bad. And I go, wait. Are you going to tell me the wolf story that I've already heard my whole life? And he looks at me, I'm like, the good wolf and the bad wolf. And he looks at me, and I'm like, which one am I going to become? We have both in us. And the answer is whichever one you feed. And he goes, I don't have to tell you anything. I was like,
That's him actually being remarkably effusive. And really, for George Lucas, you got a lot out of him, I'll have to say. So.
I'm very curious how this panel is going to go with Doug Chang at San Diego Comic-Con.
Should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that museum opening. I've been a strong supporter of that. I'm in Chicago, and it was originally supposed to be here. And he ran into some problem with some special interest groups, and they kind of they sent him back into California, unfortunately.
Yeah, why
City of Chicago wanted
I
it.
understand it. Because he wouldn't grift some, assemblyman.
No, he did all that and did a real good job with it. It was an environmentalist special interest group that put the screws to him legally. And it could have been held up in courts for years. And so he said, sayonara, Chicago. The city wanted him here. He dropped off $25 million to the Chicago Board of Education, and that seemed to get the ball rolling on all kind of things.
Yeah, I bet you those kids still don't have books.
Well, you know, some of them don't even have schools anymore, from what I understand. So that's the unfortunate situation going on. But I'm not going to lay that on George Lucas. I'll tell you that right now. But the museum should be very interesting. Yeah.
My first Comic-Con was C2E2.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, when was that? And I must have missed that one.
4 years ago. No, not even 3 years ago. I wasn't allowed out of the house. Like, Lucas didn't let me go do things for a while. They wanted to put the narrative out there. Now that said, do you have more rapid fire questions?
Oh, what can you tell us about the Mandalorian and Grogu?
Okay, this is what I can tell you about my working with Carl Weathers was a dream. Okay, like, this is Apollo Creed. This is a man who did Action Jackson, like all those things that drew me to acting, honestly, which is these incredibly physical roles that he physically participated in and still did on this show, which was amazing. What great shape he was and everything. Okay, that said, we already know she's in it, so there's no spoiler here. I will say about the movie itself, I think we go to the storytelling originally that we loved with Mando, where we're not creating we're not growing another tree just to make a bigger universe. We're with the kid and Mando quite a bit, and their journey is forefront. That said, this woman walked onto set, came to me and said, "You are magnificent." I was talking to Jim, and then I looked at her like, Jim. And she's like, "Oh, Jim Cameron." I was with Jim Cameron, and we were talking about how great you are. Like, wow. What you bring is amazing. And I'm bloop, bloop, melt. About to, fall into a drain, and Ripley's talking to me.
Sigourney Weaver. That's amazing.
She knew my name. Walked up to me like, "Brendan," and I'm literally like, "Oh my God." Wow. Like, I mean, I'm still we became friends. I watched her work, and my respect for her approach and her commitment knows no bounds, because she didn't have some people who are established as her or who've been working. You don't see them like bring their script out and work on things and talk about things in front of other people. They do that in separate, and because they think that everybody thinks they're the wizard. Well, we've all seen behind the curtain, but to see her work, to watch her write down notes, to watch her invest and watch it evolve, and watch her expand the character in a way in front of you, you can't help but be a better actor afterwards. And to be a part of that, and to know that that person said that they held me in high esteem, and we texted, like I texted Sigorney Weaver, "Are you kidding?"
That's amazing. Congratulations, Brendan. We can't wait.
It was a burner phone, and she's throwing it away. But I literally,
I don't know. She probably relays the messages to Jim quite often.
Well, no, then she told me, I told Walter all about you. I'm like, after a week of working together, I'm like, "Walter," and I'm like, "Is that her husband?" And she goes, "No, Walter Hill. I had dinner with Walter Hill." I'm like,
Walter Hill.
We're talking lawyers, 48 hours. Like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Like, well, if they're doing anything, let them know. And she goes, "I'm going to let Ridley know." And I'm like, at this point now, I've taught the game. I'm like, "Oh, Ridley Scott, yeah." But I don't say it. I'm like, "Oh, really? Yeah." She's like, "Because you're a cowboy." I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, he wants to do a Western before he's done. And I literally was like, "I didn't think you could be more attractive."
Amazing. What great career success you've had. You've been so generous with your time. Thank you so much for calling us back too, because we really did want to hear the rest of that George Lucas story. So, but we know you have another soccer practice to get to, and some dogs to chase around, and so
Maybe go feed them before we
But you're just a great storyteller, a real awesome, down-to-earth guy. I really dig your energy, and I got to be honest with you. Coming into this interview, I find myself feeling a little nervous, primarily for the. I mean, we've talked to so many Star Wars creatives and actors and talent, but you're the Duke's grandson, okay? And that meant so much to me. My dad was and still is a tremendous John Wayne fan. When I grew up in our basement, he was a collector of memorabilia, still is. And he has this
basement.
I grew up in the basement. I was in the basement. Yes, I'm still in the basement. Damn it! But in the house I grew up in, my mom and dad, my dad had memorabilia. He had a replica of the rifle from True Grit up on the wall. He had an oil painting of John Wayne as Rooster Cogburn in our basement on the wall.
Is that it? That's the one?
Is that the rifle? Yeah. Let me see. No, I can't see it.
Commemorative John Wayne 1911 made by the Armed Forces.
Oh.
Yeah, now that's a pistol. We had the full-on rifle from True Grit. It was mounted. We had a small bust-sized statue of John from The Searchers. It was the whole thing there. And as a kid, he sat me. I'm sorry, I lost you, Brendan. But no, I'll just continue.
Yeah, keep going because
he's grabbing more memorabilia. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, he's getting some cool stuff to show you.
Oh, now he's got the rifle.
Yeah,
now he's got the rifle.
Holy cow!
Look at this. And that is much more shinier and prettier than the one we had. That's an amazing piece.
Whoa.
Jeez. But as a kid, my dad, look at that embossing. As a kid, my dad showed me all the movies. Red River, The Quiet Man, The Searchers, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, Rio Grande, all of them. And we watched them. And then as a kid, Brendan, I would stay home from school sick in the 70s, and a rerun of the Lucy Show would come on, and all of a sudden I'd see John Wayne on the Lucy Show. I'd be like, there he is. There he is.
Second most watched episode.
Yeah.
Bob Hope specials and the Tonight Show appearances. That was the stuff I was eating up. But I knew of John because my dad made me watch those films. So
I recommend this. Watch The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, watch The Cowboys, and McClintock. Watch those three. And if you don't walk away from that and go, he was a great actor, then you're just broken, because people underestimated him because he became so famous. But the guy I knew and the guy you saw are so different. I don't know. Like, there's traits that you can, that carry over. We use different muscles as actors that push out different parts of us to portray characters. That's what I think. And that's what the things you saw, that stoic kind of, I didn't see a lot of that. He was goofy to me. People are like, he's this guy. I'm like, nah, he was a dork. Like, this is a guy whose shorts were too tight, who used to saran wrap his toilet so tight that we couldn't tell, and then he'd wait for us to piss ourselves.
Oh, no, he'd prank you.
Like, that's the guy he was. So,
he wasn't the Duke. He was a dork. Who knew?
Yeah.
But I mean, these are wonderful stories. Just wonderful stories. Thank you so much for sharing them with us. You ever coach the soccer team on the sidelines wearing Mando armor?
No, this season I'm going to, though.
Yeah. Take some photos, please.
I've stolen enough from set to do what I need to do.
Yeah, it took 3 years, wonderful. Piece by piece. The costume is slowly been lifted. That's awesome.
Well, thanks again, Brendan, man. Thank you. Do you have anything you want to plug? Any convention appearances coming up? Anything like that? Other film projects? I don't know.
Can you hear me? I know I'm going to do a movie called Vanishing Tour shortly. It's really cool.
We're breaking up again. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Now it's completely gone. Yeah.
Now
no. Did he burn through another phone battery? What just happened? Oh, he's back. He's back.
People don't use their phones.
Well, maybe next time we talk to you, we could talk in person and we won't have to deal with all this weird technology stuff. We'll get the word out about what you're up to next for sure. Maybe we could talk to you again sometime.
We'd love to, yeah.
Yeah. Again, I can't. I'm no expert at reading lips, but it seems like it was pretty funny what you just said. Oh.
Hey, this is a guy that acts and communicates with his body movements. So,
yes, right. This is not the way. Oh, he's got to post it
up a little higher. A little higher. Instagram. All right, we're going to check out Instagram, and we'll let everybody know what you're up to. All right.
Follow Brendan Wayne on Instagram.
The real Brendan Wayne on Instagram. Wow. Thank you so much, Brendan. It's been awesome. What a treat. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Take care. Have a great one. Can't wait for Mandalorian and Grogu.
Awesome.
Take care.
All right. What a legend. Woo. All right. Brendan Wayne, The Mandalorian. Crazy. Where were we? We were right in the midst of Star Wars and pop culture.
We were. We were, man. What a great guy he
is.
Yeah. I hope we can continue this relationship because he is a straight shooter. He's an outlaw. He speaks his mind. He's my type of people, you know.
Yes.
Let's just say.
Yeah.
And he's working on some of the best damn Star Wars that's being made these days.
Right.
So really looking forward to Mandalorian Grogu and encouraged by what he was saying. It takes you back to the things that we found so uplifting about those earlier adventures with Din Djarin and little Grogu. Back to the Baby Yoda days. Back to the days of sweet Baby Yoda. All right, well, let's get back to Star Wars and pop culture. The show is St. Denis Medical. From what I know about it, it stars David Allen Greer and Wendy McClendon Covey. Remember, she was the mom from the Goldbergs.
Mama Goldberg, yeah.
Yes, and they work in a hospital, St. Denis Medical. And in this particular scene from season 1, episode 6, 50 cc's of kindness is the name of the episode. And this suggestion comes from Brian from Utah, who wants us to check out this Star Wars reference. Here's the setup. Remember, it takes place in a hospital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Alex complains about Dr. Ron, played by David Allen Greer, who she fears is corrupting young rookie Dr. Matt. Okay, I think Star Wars might have a role to play in this corruption. But let's see what happens here on NBC's St. Denis Medical.
Ron is like the Darth Vader of this department, you know, and he's trying to get Matt to come over to the dark side. Then I'm like, hey, no, come over here to the light side, to the good side, the Force side.
The good side.
Okay.
Yeah.
The good side. The Force side. Okay. All right. Well, there's our first Star Wars reference. You can see why me and Jason be putting off this segment for months at a time. I mean, you can tell we weren't. All right. So let's go to this one comes from Ernie, my good friend Ernie. And this is when the Bears head coach Ben Johnson was introduced. Okay. And this is an internet sports show called CHGO Sports. CHGO. I guess that stands for Chicago.
Uh-huh.
In this clip, they're talking about the relationship. These are commentators, like sports commentators, talking about the Bears,
They've hired a new head coach. They have a hotshot young quarterback named Caleb Williams. And the guys on CHGO are discussing what the relationship between Bears QB Caleb Williams and new head coach Ben Johnson will be like. And apparently there is a Star Wars reference in here. From what I understand, if you listen, this is according to Ernie, you'll hear the guy, he's trying to come up with the term Padawan, but he can't quite dig that up out of his mental recesses, and he fumbles a little bit, to use another football analogy. This is a sports show, so let's hear how this goes down.
This almost kind of seems like Master and Jedi sort of thing, so that gets me excited.
Well, and he also said another thing. The quarterback has to see the game through the play caller's eyes. And so that's him saying, look, I'm not trying to, you got to figure it out on my level, Caleb. I'm, like you said, I'm the master Jedi, you're the learner, right? You're the Jedi in training.
Yeah.
So Ernie heard the stutter, and Ernie's yelling at the speaker, Padawan. And the guy's stuttering, and you're the learner. You're the okay. All right, yeah. Nice try, guys.
You know what? I got to give him props for all of the variations that he came up with, and we've all been there. I've been there many times where you know something as well as you know your own name, and as soon as that microphone turns on, blank. You know? So,
always. Yeah. It happens a lot. Probably happened to me about 10 times in this particular show alone. So. Yeah, and the first guy says it's like the relationship between Master and Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, that could be considered correct, but it's a real awkward way of
what impressed me was when he called him a learner, because Vader uses that term.
Yeah.
When
Apprentice would have been fine.
I was but the learner. Yeah.
Apprentice would have been acceptable too. I told this to Ernie. I said it didn't have to be just Padawan. Apprentice would have been fine.
We'll accept
Ernie
learner.
disagreed.
We'll accept apprentice.
Learner just barely.
Only because it's canonical. With Vader saying
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the learner.
Yeah.
Now I am the master.
Yeah.
No, you're the learner.
Yeah, Vader goes, when I last left you, I was but the learner.
The learner, yeah. Learner. We haven't invented the word Padawan yet. It's only 1977. What? All right. Now here's one from Rob. We're going all the way back to September 22nd, 1983. The game show Press Your Luck.
One of my favorites. Talk about staying home from school, watching afternoon TV, yeah. Press Your Luck. That was one of them.
Well, apparently a bunch of old episodes of this game show that Jason used to watch with playing hooky from school. There's episodes available on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Rob was flipping through some of these, and he came across a Star Wars reference on the 1983 game show Press Your Luck. So I don't even remember what.
No whammies.
No whammies. All right, let's check it out.
Actor James Earl Jones isn't seen in the 3 Star Wars movies, but his voice is heard. What character uses his voice? Terry.
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, Terry says. All right, is the correct answer Darth Vader, Chewbacca, or R2-D2? Jim?
Look at that spelling.
Vader. Darth Vader says Jim. Robert.
It's Darth Vader.
It's Darth Vader, and indeed it is Darth Vader. Everybody picks up spins on that one.
I was nervous.
All right.
I was nervous when they had Chewbacca spelled Chubaca. I thought, I cannot guarantee that they know that was the right answer.
Apparently their proofreader had the day off or something. The devotion to accuracy was non-existent on Press Your Luck circa 1983. So I've never seen Chewbacca spelled Chubaca. That's a new one on me.
It's phonetic. Maybe
it's 1983 too. If it was 1977, I'd cut him a little bit of slack. But by 1983, we're talking 3 films in, damn it. And a holiday special for that matter. All right.
Okay.
Moving on. The Superman buzz is gripping everyone here midsummer 2025. Everyone loves Superman. But there was another Superman show, Superman and Lois. And this is kind of a follow-up because we had played a clip from Superman and Lois back in October 2023 here on Star Wars and Pop Culture.
Okay.
And then just this past season, there was kind of a follow-up to that original scene from 2023. So first we're going to hear the Star Wars reference from Superman and Lois going back to October 2023, and then we'll hear the follow-up clip that just occurred on this last episode of Superman and Lois, or last season, I should say. So here's from 2020. Jesus, mouth. Here's from 2023.
Can we do it again? Yes. Okay, we're gonna do one of my favorite flight paths. All right. I used to call it the Kessel Run. What's that?
What's that?
that was fast. Can we hear that one more time? Something about the Kessel Run happened here.
Can we do it again? Yes. Okay, we're gonna do one of my favorite flight paths. All right. I used to call it the Kessel Run. What's that?
Okay, favorite flyby called the Kessel Run.
Yeah.
And then the kid says, "What's that?" So not the world's greatest Star Wars and pop culture reference, but apparently strong enough for Superman and Lois to follow up on it in Season 4, Episode 4 on the CW. This is from the episode called A Perfectly Good Wedding, Season 4, Episode 4. And there is a similar back and forth about... in this particular scene, Superman is teaching his second son how to fly. So I guess he was teaching his first son how to fly in the clip we just played from 2023. Now he's teaching his second son how to fly.
I didn't watch this show.
And, the news that Superman even has children, I mean, that is big news to me. But...
Yeah,
he and Lois are just dating in the new one.
I heard that the show. Yeah, I heard that the show was really good. It had a lot of fans. I haven't watched Superman since Lois and Clark in the 90s.
I missed that one. I couldn't accept the Dean Cain business. I took one look at that and I said impossible.
But
I did like I said Terry Hatcher though. I mean that's worth tuning in for.
Absolutely.
But
okay,
she's a great Lois Lane.
Superman and Lois. This from back last year. I think it was the finale, the final season was last year.
Yeah, it was the Season 4 was the final. So here's Superman teaching his second son how to fly. Listen for the Star Wars reference.
This is where you trained?
Yep, same as your brother. I was hoping he'd help show you the ropes.
Awesome.
Hey, once you master this, we can move up to the Kessel Run.
Bonus points for making it in less than 12 parsecs.
Yes! Thank you!
Okay, that paid off.
Superman's so happy. His second son, he got it. He got the reference. That's all Soups wanted. And, you could hear the winds blowing through the Fortress of Solitude, I'm assuming. This is like listening to like old radio, dramas. But good for Soups. He finally got the second one raised right.
Right. The first one was like Castle Run. What? What? But then the second one is a little more. Well, maybe the first one got interested in the Star Wars, following that back and forth with his pops, and he went home and watched it and turned the younger brother onto it. So by the time it came for the younger brother to learn how to fly, he was a seasoned Star Wars fan. Probably attended Star Wars celebration conventions and everything.
Let's face it, that's the Superman show everybody wants, which is Superman raising his kids to be Star Wars fans.
Yeah, just simply, I think David Cornswhite would be down with that. Yeah, I know he would be.
I think he is.
Somebody sent me a clip of him talking about how he watches the Death Star blow up on New Year's Eve at the stroke of midnight.
Say what?
He times it out. Yeah. Our little viral invention has made it all the way to Superman himself.
I'm due for a rewatch. It's like your dentist, your 6-month checkup.
How often do you rewatch? Every 6 months?
On New Year's Eve, it's now the tradition, starting the 3 movies ending with the second Death Star exploding at midnight.
Okay.
There's food involved as well. It's a wonderful tradition that we've just started.
He watches the entire original trilogy on the 31st and ends with the Death Star 2 blowing up at the end of Return of the Jedi, which is acceptable. He's Superman.
Okay.
I can't push back on that.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people have done it. And of course, the whole thing is blown up to be so viral that people customize it to so many different films. But nothing has the positive impact of that. The original Death Star explosion, and then the music and the celebration.
It's so
and
satisfying.
The throne room and there's satisfaction abounds when you do it that way. But if Superman wants to blow up the Death Star too, then God bless him. So I just think it's hilarious that something I started doing back in 1999 because I couldn't go out for New Year's because I had a newborn at home and I needed to find ways to entertain myself. I came up with that using VHS tapes even. And it's developed into this huge deal now where even Superman is blowing up the Death Star at midnight on New Year's Eve.
I like that you started out with the analog version. I think that's appropriate for you.
Well, it's all I had.
Right.
Star Wars was not available on DVD back in 1999. There was no streaming. The only other option I would have had would be the laser disc, but I didn't have.
Well,
I didn't have
dude, you would have had to have count for the flipping of the disc. That would have been really rough.
See, it would have been.
You'd have had to time it.
Fail.
And
yeah, it would have been terrible. Terrible. But yeah, back in those days, and then I would do the picture-in-picture with the countdown happening, like in downtown Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd try to see how well it would time out. Some years I got it just down to the millisecond. It was great. Nowadays it's easier with the digital technology and stuff. You can be far more accurate. So that's my little story about Superman blowing up the Death Star at midnight. God bless you, David Cornsweat. And I bet you're listening to this show. I mean, I bet you listen, dude. I mean, just admit it. Just admit it.
Yeah, I don't know why he's
Reach
waiting.
out to us.
Yeah.
Reach out to us and let's talk Star Wars. Let's talk the wars.
We won't even ask you about Superman. We won't even
like
ask you.
super what?
Right.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't care about Superman. No questions about any of that crap. Just the wars. Man, maybe a couple questions about Superman, but nothing that'll get you in trouble. All right, Reign of Fire. This is our last entry into Star Wars and pop culture, and the last thing we're going to talk about this week on Rebel Force Radio. Reign of Fire. 2022's Reign of Fire, starring Gerard Butler and Christian Bale. Here's the setup. Taking refuge from a dragon-scorched surface, a small society shelters underground and entertains children by recreating a famous scene from The Empire Strikes Back. This is a suggestion that comes to us from Gary from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Reign of Fire, Star Wars reference. Entertaining children underground with recreations of a famous scene from Empire.
Join me, the Black Knight says, and we can end this conflict forever. Never.
I'll never join you, the White Knight says. You killed my father.
The Black Knight stares through the holes in his shiny mask, and he speaks words that burn into our hero's heart forever. I am your father.
And the crowd goes wild.
Did you make that up, Mr. Quinn?
Of course I did.
Did you make it
I
up?
guess, in a post-apocalyptic world, I like to think that I would keep the legacy of Star Wars alive and do dramatic reenactments for the little urchins.
Yeah, well, you'd know the dialogue, so
right.
that way it works. And the White Knight versus the Dark Knight. Yeah. Very entertaining stuff. So, put that in your back pocket should you find yourself stranded somewhere with a bunch of kids who've never seen Star Wars. You can blow them away by simply recreating scenes.
Chewie, get us out of here!
Oh, we got to thank the legend, Brendan Wayne. What a great guy.
Great guy.
And such a fun interview. He's the kind of guy that you could probably have a 4-hour conversation with, and
easily.
A few beers would be nice too. I think something tells me that you could probably tilt back a couple with a guy like Brendan. But really awesome, and what a great, just awesome. Great time with Brendan. Hopefully we get a chance to do it again. It'd be nice to talk to him once that big movie comes out.
Yes.
And yes, you can follow him on Instagram. That was his last wish, as he wrote it on a Post-it and showed it to us. The real Brendan Wayne on Instagram. And it's Brendan, not Brandon. Brendan. I had to really coach myself before the interview, say it's Brendan, not Brandon. So that was a lot of fun. Also, if you are into Rebel Force Radio and need more of it in your life, and why wouldn't you? You can check us out at Patreon. That's where we have the various tiers where you can contribute and get exclusive content from us here at Rebel Force Radio, including weekly full show video. So maybe you'd like to see the video of the Brendan Wayne interview. You can do that if you're an All Access member. You can also get exclusive podcasts, both video and audio, that you can't get anywhere else. These are not released. They're you can't subscribe to them, and you won't find them on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, anything like that. It's exclusive to Rebel Force Radio on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/Rebel Force Radio, or go to the Rebel Force Radio website and click on the Patreon banner there on the right wheel, and you'll get taken where you need to go. Speaking of video, we also have a lot of video on our YouTube channel, so please check that out. We'd love you to watch some of those and give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. It helps all of the algorithms and helps more people discover us here at Rebel Force Radio. So much appreciated if you do that. We are also, it's not just Brendan Wayne, we're also on Instagram. So you can find us at Rebel Force Radio. We're also on X and Facebook. And that website, once more, rebelforceradio.com. But the best way you can help us out, doesn't cost you anything, that is to recommend Rebel Force Radio to the Star Wars fan in your life. If you know somebody who loves Star Wars, but they're not listening to RFR, like David Cordensweat. No, we think he's listening to RFR. But if he's not, and you're a friend of David's, so you got to check out Rebel Force Radio, the #1 Star Wars podcast in all the world. And if your podcatcher of choice allows you to leave a review, we greatly appreciate it. We love all the reviews. We read them all. Just one simple rule, please.
Make them good.
All right, that'll do it for us here on RFR. Thank you all so much. We will see you next week for more Star Wars news, commentary, talk, and so much more. Until then, for RFR, I'm Jason.
And I'm Jimmy Mack.
And remember,
the Force will be with you, always.
It's Darth Vader. It's Darth Vader, and indeed it is Darth Vader. Everybody picks up spins on that one.